Juneteenth attendees had a record number of booths to visit.
Well, my father had been doing this thing for over about 30 years now, and he has a business in Chicago. He used to be here, but now he retired, and he sent me and my brother to still come represent.
Food was good and plentiful.
I think it's tender. That's my ministry, feeding God's people. I love to see people smile. You know, I love to see them smile.
And how you think food does that?
Oh, my food, I ain't worried about it. Because once you taste my food, I got you. You shake it, you break it. Off the bone, off the bone. If it do not come off the bone, I give your money back. Mr. Nelson, try me.
This was the 8th summit that was held, and like previous ones, offered real-life experiences to the young men.
One thing about coming from the ghetto, you come from poverty, and we share a lot of our stories. A lot of our stories are similar. And yes, my mother had me when she was 15. I didn't know my father until I was 18. I went to jail 3 times before I got it right. I used to sell bags of joints all on the block all the time. I'm not saying this to glorify this. The one thing you youngsters should know is that you should learn from our mistakes.
Nearly half of young black men born into poverty will be incarcerated by the time they're 23.
By the time I was 9, 10 years old, I see enough violence to just take somebody out. I seen domestic violence. My sister was into prostitution. My brother went to jail for murder. My mother worked a job and did the best she can do. So by the time I was 13 years old, I had my own bag, my marijuana bag. By the time I was 15, I had powder cocaine. By the time I was 17, I had my own crew, and we were selling crack cocaine throughout the streets of Milwaukee. And involved in that lifestyle. I was a 2-4 boy. I was 24 from Capitol, 30 and 18, North 21st Street. Holla at your boy. That's what I was about.
From the time the program started till the end, even when I was talking and making a few humorous remarks, I was crying tears of joy because they couldn't say that 250 little black boys in the street in a fast car, robbing anybody or doing anything negative. They were with men, and men were helping, teaching them and sharing with them ways of being better, how to take their life to another level.
It's moments like these that make Milwaukee's annual Daddy-Daughter Dance so special. This was the 18th dance hosted by Milwaukee Rec. It was held on February 18th at North Division High School. Since 2003, men in Milwaukee have been taking their daughters to this dance. The event has become a tradition for many fathers in the city. That's why even after a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic, the dance was still sold out, nearing 1,000 attendees.
We have every year we have the pictures stacked behind each other, so we kind of can see the growth we've had since she was a little girl to being a young woman now. This year I had to ask her if she wanted to go, because I didn't know if she was at the age where it could be kind of, corny to go with your dad. So she was like, of course. So it did my heart good that she still went to hang out with her dad, and even though being a teenager.
He's my dad. I can never get sick of my dad. He's always there for me. He's funny, and it's just great. I love hanging out with my dad. I think my dad is my superhero, and so looking back on moments like this is just really amazing. I see how happy he makes me and how happy I am when I'm spending time with my family and with my dad, and it's great. It gives me a warm feeling inside.
What is the importance of a day like this to the fathers?
It gives them an outlet to understand that they have things that they can grow their daughter up with also. So having them have a rich tradition in their family. So this might be something that extends 10, 12 years. If the kid is 2 years old, she might be doing this till she's 15 or 17, So it's great tradition, and then also the daddies I know want to show their queens and their princesses a great time.
One of the purposes is to give fathers an outlet to show their daughters the proper way a man should treat a woman.
Man, I love this. I've been waiting for her to get old enough just to be able to take her to this. It means a lot to me to be able to show her how a man is supposed to treat her. One day she's gonna be a woman. So just knowing that you're raising a woman, me making sure that I'm making the right decisions and I'm presenting the right things to her, so that when she does go out and eventually find her a man or a mate, that she's able to choose the right person.
He's open. He can't miss. Timeout. Patrick
I guess so. That is Patrick Baldwin Jr., one of the biggest basketball names in Milwaukee today. Following a stellar high school career at Hamilton and Sussex, Baldwin was offered multiple basketball scholarships from various large programs like Michigan, Kentucky, and Duke. However, he chose to stay close to home and play for his dad, Patrick Baldwin Sr., at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
So what has your dad been like as a coach so far?
Yeah, so he's actually been a lot tougher on me than I initially expected.
The father-son coaching dynamic is a wholesome portrayal of a strong family bond, although to some, the relationship might seem to be a conflict of interest promoting favoritism.
You know, favoritism never even crossed my mind when it came down to coaching him and having him a part of our university and our team. In that mindset, you know, I do have a special player coming in here that it's not about favoritism, about, you know, putting our best product out on the floor, but also when you have someone of Patrick's talent, to see how you can magnify it, how you can bring that talent and mix it in with the team and the group that you have.
Good morning and thanks for watching Good Day Saturday. I'm Uzezi Okwata. Sally has the day off. We begin with breaking news out of Chicago's northwest side. 2 people were hurt in an apartment fire in Logan Square. The fire started around 2 this morning near West Fullerton Avenue. We're told the fire was on the 2nd floor of the complex. A man and a woman were taken to the hospital in critical condition. It was a somber welcome home. The remains of a U.S. soldier from Chicago who was killed in Afghanistan were flown back to Chicago yesterday for his funeral. It was a difficult day for Michael Nance's family, who told us he died doing what he loved, serving his country. Fox 32's Larry Yellen has the story. Talk about your background. You grew up in the Michigan area. How did Michigan mold you into the person and the basketball player you are today?
A lot, you know, just, you know, growing up, you know, learning the fundamentals of the game, playing the right way. You know, I had a big brother in Michigan that, you know, I used to compete with and everything. So, you know, Michigan, you know, I created a lot of success. That's where I started travel ball. That's where I started AAU ball. So, you know, I've been playing since I was a child, and that's where it all started.
Hey, Blake, we see that you can still play around with the game of basketball, have a little bit of fun with it. When you do things like that, we just basically, before we started rolling the camera, we saw him shooting around, taking half-court shots. But when you do things like that, take half-court shots and just mess around, how does it remind you about the Blake Griffin before the NBA, the Blake Griffin before the fame, and everything with it?
You know, we all play basketball because we loved it, you know what I mean, and still love it. So, you know, you can't.
Welcome back to the CKW Network. I'm Uzezi Okwata, alongside here with Aaron Gordon of the Orlando Magic. How we doing today, Aaron?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks.
It's influential. I'm sitting here with former Chicago Bull Kyle Korver. Kyle, you're also one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. How does it feel to come back to Chicago?
I always loved coming back to Chicago. I mean, I had such great memories being here. We had a team that scrapped and fought and overachieved, I thought, in a lot of ways. And it felt like the city really connected with those groups that I was on. Like when I come back, people still talk about, you know, those years and just, you know, watching the fight of the team. And I'm grateful I got to be a part of that.
And being a newcomer in Milwaukee, what have you noticed about this team playing with a reigning MVP like Giannis? What have you noticed about this team that brings a liking to you?
Yeah, I mean it's similar to those Chicago years, in that, you know, got guys who love the game.
Good morning and thanks for watching Good Day Saturday. I'm Uzezi Okwata.